Okay, let's get going. So, hi everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar. My name is Rafi Shulman, and I'm the co-founder of Olim Advisors. First of all, I want to thank and shout out to the amazing people who are joining us, the panelists who are joining us tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Each one of them will introduce themselves to you in a few minutes, and you'll really get a sense of why we invited them to join. When we do these webinars, it's not an infomercial. It's not like we just let anybody come in and advertise their company. We carefully choose each person, each company to make sure that you're hearing from people who can really help you, companies that have an amazing reputation, companies that have an amazing service. And so that's why we invited these gentlemen to join us tonight to share with them, to share with you how they can help you. So with that, I just want to welcome everybody else that has joined us. We have over 160 people from around the world, which I always find so inspiring and so amazing to see. Whether you're looking to make Aliyah, you're looking to buy, you've already made Aliyah and you're looking to rent, it doesn't really matter. The fact is that you want to connect with Israel. And it's always been so important to have this connection, but especially now, especially after October 7th, it's amazing and inspiring to see people from around the world who want to have this connection. And please God, we can help you. We can give you some information, give you some advice. Hopefully you'll find this webinar very helpful. Before we get started, I just want to share with you a few quick things. First of all, we will be recording this webinar. So if you come late or if you have to leave early, don't worry about it. I'm not going to hold it against you. We'll send out an email within a couple of days with a link to the recording so you can watch it again. And please feel free to share it with other people who maybe weren't able to attend tonight. And if you think they will find the information helpful, send it on to them as well. The other thing is that we will be doing a Q&A session at the end. So go ahead and type your questions into the Q&A box, and we'll try and get to as many of the questions as we can. But you need to understand that we can't get to everyone's questions, and we can't get into the details of everybody's situation. So everyone has their own concerns, their own problems, their own goals, their own budgets. And the webinar is just not the right time to get into that. So we want you to reach out to us. We want to do a one-on-one call so we can really understand what your plans are and we can explain to you how we can help you. So I'll have my contact information at the end of the webinar. Feel free to email me. If you want to connect with one of the other panelists, let me know and I'll just pass you on to them. But please, let's do this together. Don't feel like you have to go through this process by yourself. We're here to help and we want to help. So reach out to us. Let's do this together. Before we get started, I just wanted to ask two quick questions, and by a show of hands, so if you can, click on the hands, the raise hand button if this applies to you. The first question is, how many of you are frustrated or overwhelmed or confused by the process of renting a home or buying a home? If you've done it before or if you're looking to do it, how many of you are just a little frustrated by the process? And the second question is, how many of you are concerned about working with the right people and the right companies? Unfortunately, there are a lot of individuals in Israel and around the world who just will take advantage of people. And of course, we want to avoid that. So how many people are overwhelmed or confused by the process, and how many of you are concerned about working with the right people? So if you share any of these concerns, if you can just take a moment and just click on the hands, raise a hand. I just want to make sure that we're really focusing on content that is relevant to you. Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. I see that a lot of you are, and that's what we anticipated. You're not alone. There are a lot of people that share these concerns, and that's why we started Olim Advisors about 8 years ago. Back in 2016, Laura, who's my partner, and I sat together and we said, you know what? Making Aliyah and buying a home in Israel is an overwhelming process. It's a confusing process. It's a stressful process. And unfortunately, a lot of people give up because they don't know how to go through it. And the same thing with buying property in Israel. It also, if you're abroad or if you're in Israel, there are a lot of choices, there are a lot of companies, a lot of options, and a lot of people just say, you know what, this is just too hard for me to navigate and I just can't do it. And so in 2016, we set out to offer a very unique, a very personalized service that guides people through the process. And the way that we do it is we assign an advisor to each one of our clients, whether it's somebody who wants to buy, whether it's somebody who wants to rent, whether it's somebody who wants to make aliyah. And your advisor will, in essence, guide you through the entire process, from the very beginning to the end. So if you're looking to make Aliyah, we will help you find the right community, find schools, find the right home, and then we'll help you deal with bureaucracy. And then when you're in Israel, we'll support you on an ongoing basis. The same service and the same support applies to if you want to buy a home in Israel. We will help you find the communities. We'll help you find developers and projects. And perhaps most importantly, we will introduce you to our network of professionals like the individuals that are here tonight to make sure that you are being taken advantage. Sorry, that you're being helped and not being taken advantage of. And the bottom line is working with us will save you time, will save you effort, we will save you aggravation, we will even save you some money. And the bottom line is that we will simplify the process, whether it's buying a home or making Aliyah, and we'll make sure that it goes through as smoothly and as quickly as possible. So with that, let's dive into the content. And the first thing we're going to start with are just some tips that I have for people who are looking to rent and people who are looking to buy, right? So for those of you who are thinking about coming to Israel on a pilot trip, so that's a vacation where somebody's coming for a week to 2 weeks and they want to check out communities. So most people in that situation need to rent a home. And one of the suggestions that I have is look to work with a company like See and Rent, where you can actually rent a short-term property instead of going to a hotel. The hotels, as most people know in Israel, are expensive. So there's ways to save a lot of money when you're planning your pilot trip by renting short-term rentals. The other thing is there are upsides and there are downsides of renting. So when you look at the upsides, you have the flexibility. So if you want to rent for a year in a city and then move, or if you want to move neighborhoods, if you want to move to different projects, you have the flexibility of picking up and moving year after year. The other benefit, the other upside, is from a financial point of view. You don't have to put down a down payment, which in many cases is a lot of money. And your monthly payments, your monthly rental payments often is less than your monthly mortgage payments. And the third thing is you're not responsible for property repairs. So if there's something that goes wrong with the foundation, with the structure of the apartment, of the house, you simply call up the landlord and they'll take care of it. Now, what's the downsides of renting? So there are a couple of downsides for you to keep in mind. The first thing is a lot of people are concerned about renting a place and then getting an email or a phone call from the landlord one day and saying, sorry, your rent, the lease is up, you have to move. Or sorry, we're going to now increase your rent by 3,000 shekel. And so that's a very valid concern. And as you'll hear about in a few moments, Olim actually, which is one of the big developers in Israel, has a very unique and a very beneficial solution that really tackles both of those issues, the having to move every year and also rents that are going up. The other downside of renting is that if you do want to eventually buy, home prices will likely go up as you rent, right? And that's just the nature of the Israeli market. The prices will vary from place to place and project to project. But if you rent and 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you'll look to buy something, in all likelihood, you will regret it. You'll kick yourself and say, wow, if I just would have bought it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, it would have been a lot cheaper. And so upside and downside, of course, it really depends on your situation, but those are things to keep in mind. The next thing is to be prepared, right? And what I mean by that is that many landlords will require a guarantor, right? So you go ahead and you rent it and they want to have somebody guarantee, in essence, the rent. So that's something that you need to be aware of, you need to be prepared for. Another thing is a lot of landlords will ask you to give them prepaid checks, very often 12 months in advance. So you rented, let's say, in January 1st, they might want their rent checks post-dated, right, for the next 12 months. So sorry, not prepaid, but post-dated checks for the next 12 months. And so that's something that you need to be prepared for. And the last thing is, if you think about making Aliyah, if you recently made Aliyah, there are a couple of really helpful subsidies from the government. The one is the rental subsidy, where you can, get some money back from the government. And the other thing is Arnona discount. Arnona is the municipal tax. So there are discounts that the government offers that if you're making Aliyah, you can take advantage of, and that's a nice benefit to have. Okay, so that's for renting. Now, let's talk about it for a moment about people who want to buy, right? And these are some tips and some advice. The first thing is that you should calculate a budget. It doesn't have to be to the exact shekel or the exact dollar, but you should have a rough estimate of how much you can put down, how much you can pay in monthly payments, and that should factor in the closing costs as well. The purchase tax can be pretty high, and then there's other closing costs. You have the lawyer and the realtor, maybe a mortgage broker. So you want to make sure that you have a sense of the budget, because it doesn't make sense for you, for example, to look to buy a property in Tel Aviv or in Yerushalayim if you can't afford it. So you want to have a general sense and then really work within your budget. The next tip is to consider all options. And Israel, the Israeli real estate market, for those of you who have looked into it, will recognize that it's different from the way that real estate markets operate around the world. You have the traditional new construction and the secondhand construction, so if you're buying it from somebody else. But then you also have a lot of projects that you can buy on paper, which means you can buy it off a blueprint. And in essence, you lock in a price and you can also figure out payment terms. And so that's something that a lot of people will take advantage of. A lot of people aren't familiar with it. So there are a lot of options to consider. And considering that you're making such a big investment, you really want to look into all options. The next thing, as I mentioned, the purchase tax discount. There's a new law that went into effect on August 15th, 2024. So you want to make sure you're aware of this. And there are ways sometimes to dramatically reduce your purchase tax. The next thing is taking advantage of the payment terms. So a lot of developers now will let you put down 20% down and 80% when you get the property, right? So in essence, you lock in the price, right? There might be a little bit of a building index, but that's something, that's factored in, and the developer will discuss with you. But the thing is, you can lock it in, and then you might not have to pay for another 2-3 years. During that time, you can get a mortgage, you can sell your home. So there's a big advantage to that. The next thing is getting your ducks in order. And what I mean by that is that you have to have all the pieces in place. If you want a mortgage, you should have the pre-approval. If you want to hire a lawyer, which I strongly recommend, you need to have a lawyer. If you need to transfer funds from outside of Israel, you need to have that set up. And the reason why this is important is because when you find a property that you like, that's priced right in a good location, in all likelihood, it's going to move quickly. So you want to be able to put in an offer and move quickly so you don't lose it. The next thing is, if you're buying new, make sure to buy from a reputable bank-backed developer. So as Olim is a classic example of it. So if God forbid a business goes out of business, the bank will come in and in essence make sure you don't lose your investments. You want to work with a big developer that's bank-backed that you can trust. And the last thing is, like I mentioned before, work with real estate professionals who have the experience working with Olim, with Anglos, and foreign buyers. It's so important for so many different aspects. So keep all this in mind. Make sure that you don't go through this process alone. Let's help you. We're happy to go through this process together with you. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Guy and Eyal to talk about See and Rent and the short-term rentals.
Hi, everyone. My name is Guy. I'm the founder of See and Rent. We're a property management company, started 12 years ago. On a side note, I'm also the son of a Ole Chadash. My father did Aliyah when he was 18, straight into the Yom Kippur War. That's a different story. So I come from a similar background to what you guys are, experiencing at the moment, understanding the difficulties and the different needs of people that don't have the same mentality sometimes of Israelis. I need a different type of approach, and yeah, that's actually the reason why we started See and Rent. We started with 6 properties back in the day, wanting to create something bigger and something that will be able to provide a different experience for people that are visiting Israel. If it's tourists for a vacation, or Ole Chadash that are moving their entire life to Israel and needs a different type of approach, a different type of attitude, people that are English speaking and know the mentality and how to deal with these type of people. B2B businesses that we cater as well, and all sorts of pretty much everybody that needs short and medium term accommodation. We currently have a spread of over 300 properties around Israel, different locations. So we are able and willing to help pretty much in every location needed in Israel. And besides the fact that we manage and own See and Rent, Eyal and myself are also involved in the Israeli Association for Vacation Rentals. Eyal is the CEO and I'm the chairman. So we're very passionate about hosting and about creating a standardized industry in Israel to provide that type of service in a certain level, and we're very passionate about it. So that being said, I'll let Eyal tell a little bit about us and how the process works.
Thank you very much, Guy, and thank you, Rafi and Lara. I think your business is amazing, and this webinar is very important for people to understand how things works in Israel. So this is a great initiative. This is our first time actually attending this kind of webinar, so it's a very exciting and new adventure for us. My name is Eyal Leventhal. I'm the CEO of Sea and Rent, and as Guy said, and I will just add some salt, we are really deep inside this business of short-term and mid-term rentals. Our business was born out of the need as a son of an Ole Hadash, like a Guy. Myself also had counter adventures with my dad when he moved to Israel. So I understand deeply how this kind of things works and how difficult it is sometimes to understand the Israeli law and the Israeli way of things works. It's not the same as other countries, and most of the time there are difficulties that comes out of not understanding the language, the culture, the rules. So yeah, we started the business, as Guy said, about 12 years ago, and our intention is to provide great service to people like yourself. And the business works very simply. It's very simple. You just need to contact us. We have a special agent handling Olim Chadashim and people coming from abroad to Israel for more than a week. We will handle everything in terms of accommodations, if it's the location, the guidance, the explanation about what you have nearby you. And Rafi said that we should promote something good for you guys, so we decided to bring out 10% discount for anyone coming from this webinar. The way it will work, you just need to mention to us. We will ask Rafi to send you our information, and you will just have to mention that you came from Olim Advisors webinar, and we will be happy to provide this. So thank you very much, and I wish you all best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Danielle, we're up to you.
Okay, thank you. I will share my screen. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Afi, for the introduction. My name is Daniel Golovencits. I work for Azorim company. Azorim is one of the leading companies in Israel for the past 60 years. And this company is one of the largest and biggest companies that is doing the largest number of projects at the moment. We have been built more than 200,000 units so far till this day. So there's a really big number of people who is living in Azorim's projects till this day. Azorim has a few core activities that we've been doing. Our main activity is our residential housing developments. Another activity that we have that at the moment is not our main, but is one of our most successful and coming up activities. This is our subsidiary company, the living company, that has been doing the long-term rentals. In that subsidiary company, we have over 2,500,000 units that is already built now, and we're already renting 900 of them in different cities like Or Yehuda, Rishon LeZion, Ashdod, Ashkelon, and Jerusalem. The idea of the long-term rental company is that a lot of people prefer to rent an apartment in this kind of concept because it's very safe. You have a father and a mother, like Rafi mentioned before, that you can address to, and it would be really easy to handle a lot of issues that come up during year rent. And the contract is being held for 10 years, while you could exit every year, and in every year you could know exactly ahead how much would it go up, unlike private properties that the owner could just change the price, and then you don't have any choice, and you just need to agree or leave it. So this is one of our successful activity that has been growing for the past 4 years in Azorim. Another activity that we're leading in Israel is our urban renewal concept. Urban renewal means that you take an existing center of a city with older buildings, and you demolish them and you build completely new buildings. Azorim today is one of the leading companies in this aspect as well. I didn't mention that Azorim is a public company. It's traded in the Israeli stock market, and our subsidiary company, Azorim's Living, also is independent traded company in the Israeli stock market as well. Now, as Rafi said, I'm not going to go into too much specifics, but I do want to talk a little bit about the large spread that Azorim has in Israel, and give a quick focus about a certain city that we see that there's a lot of potential for the past 2-3 years with foreign buyers that are focusing in these areas, like Netanya. Now, before we're going to get to that, we already talked a little bit about Azorim. It's been here for 60 years. It's worth over 4 billion shekels in the Israeli stock market. And we have over 30,000 different units under different stages of planning, executing, and sales as well. Today, at this day today, I could sell you over 1,000 units that we're already selling. We are having new projects coming in every few months. Usually, Azorim is focusing our projects in main areas that has a lot of demand. We're building from north to south, in the Sharon area, the center, in Jerusalem, basically all over the place. In this, one second. In this page, you would be able to see all of Azorim's project that we're currently marketing from north to south. So you can see that there's more than a dozen projects at the moment. A few of them are on a pre-sale stage that most people don't even know that exist. But today we're not going to talk about all of them. Like I said, we're just going to give a quick brief about our projects in Netanya. Today in Netanya, we have 4 different projects, and the 5th one is supposed to come up probably in the 2nd or 3rd quarter of this year, of 2025. So we're pretty strong in Netanya these days, and Netanya is one of our most selling cities. Not just to Israelis, but for foreign buyers. We have sold a lot apartments in Netanya to Americans, and the second city that we see a lot of sales in, it's in Jerusalem. We also have in Tel Aviv and Herzliya and some other cities, but like I said, today we're just going to focus on this. Now, maybe some of you know or not, Netanya is considered to be the capital of the Sharon. It's a beautiful city. It has an amazing coastline from north to south. It's very close to main exits to main roads like the Kvish Chof or Road 4, and the train itself also takes you all over the place in Yerushalayim. Netanya considered to be a very traditional city. There's a lot of religious people there. It would be really hard, really easy to find a lot of kosher restaurants there, even McDonald's, and a lot of open areas. Netanya, it's not a city that you're gonna get stuck on traffic. It has open roads. It's very convenient, and there's a lot of new development these days in Netanya. Now, if you look at our projects, I would divide them into two areas. We have the N projects, the N Sokolov and N Weitzman, the two projects that you see here. These two projects are located in the north of the city, but on the west side, only 5 or 6 blocks away from the sea. It's located near a community, near an Anglo community that is being based in Netanya for over 40 years. If you guys are familiar with the Tzan's community or the Young Israel Shul, so you might feel very convenient with it because the end projects, the Weitzman and the Sokolov, are both located near that area. So that's why we're having a lot of demand from foreign buyers to buy these projects. Now, if we're gonna give a quick look about one of these projects, let's take, for example, the Weitzman project that is going to be ready in February 2027. What you see here is one of the activities that I spoke of in the beginning. This project is under the concept of urban renewal. We basically, as you can see around those buildings, you see older buildings that already exist. Now, the plus is that we take older building, we're demolishing it, and we build completely new development with new construction, completely new apartments with underground parking lots, with facilities like a music room or a gym or a residence lounge that is included in the project. And the huge plus is that you don't move into an area that everything is new. You don't have the shul near you, and you don't have the shopping and the supermarkets or food markets. The plus is that you have everything already around you. So that's why a lot of people rather buy in urban renewal projects. And also, it's a good place to invest because when you have a place that you have a lot of projects under the concept of urban renewal, that means the prices usually are going up. And you could see, if you look up at the Weitzman and Sokolov projects, these are one of our most affordable projects that we're selling. You could get a 5-room apartment at the price of 3.4 or 3.5 million shekels, and it's considered to be a really good investment here in Israel, while in other areas in Netanya that are considered to be more expensive these days because they already had their new development like 5-6 years ago, the prices today are over 5 million shekels. So even if you're looking for investment or even if you're looking for living, this is a good opportunity. Now, these projects are also special because we're trying to give a new experience of life with the proximity to the sea, with walking distance, or even the view from some of the apartments in these projects. We have 4 different projects. Some of them has more sea view, some of them has less sea view, but all of them are in a very quick distance from the sea. At this map, you would be able to see 2 of our end projects located on one street from both sides of it. One of them is the Sokolov project. It's very close to the hospital of Laniado Hospital. The Tzan's community is located around here. Also the Young Israel Shul. And what you see here, it's only a distance of 5 or 6 blocks away. The other project is Weitzman that we just spoke of, and it's located at the end of the side of the street. Now, I haven't mentioned, but they were 3 buildings of 24 floors, and in them we have apartments of 3 and 4 and 5 rooms that you could choose from. Now, if I'm jumping
Just to
back,
clarify, Daniel, so three rooms is 2 bedrooms and a living room. 4 rooms
yes,
is 3 bedrooms and a living room. Just for people who are not familiar with the lingo, just keep that in mind. When Daniel says 4 rooms, it's actually 3 bedrooms and the living room.
exactly. It's like the Israeli concept of defining the number of the rooms is including the living room as a room. I could say some jokes about that, but I'm not sure that's the right place for that. I'll keep it for a personal one-on-one Zooms. Now, the Sokolov project is the same idea on the don't forget, on the same street. Both of them are on the same different sides of the street. 24 floors for each building, with 3 and 4 and 5 rooms apartment. As Rafi said, it's 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, right? And in it, we have, in this specific project, we decided to put a unique concept. In every project, we're trying to give a unique concept. So this one, we tried to give a concept of better facilities and give it a little bit to add some value. And we built in this project a music room next to the gym, as you can see here as well. And the music room will come fully equipped. Every time that we're doing a project, we're trying to give, like I said, a unique value to that. And also in our project in Park Hayam that I'm going to mention very soon, we have unique concepts as well. What you see here is the residence lounge and some quick view from one of the balconies that you could have with a nice view to the sea, even though it's like 6 blocks away. Obviously, you need to be from a certain level, at least from the 15th, 16th floor and above, to have a sea view from these projects. Now, the second part that we have in Netanya, is our projects that called the Chofim brand. The Chofim mean beaches, because it's near the beach. And we have Chofim West and Chofim East. Now, we're going to start from Chofim West. Chofim West is a project of one building with 30 floors high, with very unique design to the building, because we planned it in a way that every corner of the building will have a sea view, because you have the front of the building and then you have the back of the building that is going out to the side like a wing that gives the apartments at the back both kind of views. One to the rest of the city of Netanya, which is a really nice view as well. I've seen it from the building, and a facing sea view apartments that you could enjoy of. So you have the facing sea apartments, and then you have the back apartments that has 2 kind of views from to the sea and to the rest of the city of Netanya. This project is considered to be with really big apartments that most developers don't have in Park Hayam. I'm going to give you a little bit quick brief about Park Hayam. Park Hayam, let's go jump to this map. Park Hayam, it's a new land that there's a few dozens of new developments there. By the way, there's barely new land to build in front of the sea these days, especially in places like Netanya. So the fact that there is a place like that, it's a huge plus, and you should consider it. Now, our project, the west one, is located on the most west side in Park Hayam. So we're the closest one to the sea from all of the developers, and we're offering pretty big apartments at the size of 150 square meters. That is considered to be pretty big. It's good. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's around 1,600 feet. So in Israeli standards, these are big apartments. Now, not just that, the building is also standing on a park of 5 acres that we're developing. Now, what you see here, the picture that you see here, it's an actual picture that I took from the 23rd floor of the building. The building is already exists and supposed to be occupied at the end of 2025, December 2025. The skeleton is already built. Most of the lower floors are already finished. They're just doing the finishes these days. It's one of our most successful projects, and we have a few good apartments left that facing straight to the sea. Some on the 25th floor, some on the 20th floor, but there is still good options if you're looking to do Aliyah and have something ready in the more immediate timeline. This is a demonstration of the lobby that is going to be in the project. There's also going to be a residence lounge and a gym as well besides the lobby, 4 different elevators, and well, it's considered to be a high demanded project. Now, our second project in Park Hayam is the East brand. Now, the East one is going to be ready at December 2027. So in this project, you have a bit longer time to decide and to organize yourself with the Aliyah process and coming here to Israel pretty much ready and set up in your mind. Now, this project, the East one, is 2 buildings of 22 floors. If you could see in the demonstration that I'm pointing in one building. This is the building that I just mentioned. This is the west one, the one that is closest to the sea. The one that is closest to the sea, the west one, is only 350 meters from the sea, while this one, these 2 projects, are also very close and only 700 meters from the sea. But we're not selling them as a sea view. So for that would be a bit more affordable, because the one in front of the sea is a bit more expensive, as you could imagine. But we decided to take a special concept and put it inside of these 2 projects. And that concept is actually something that we've seen that most of our clients are really happy with, because it gives money value, actual money value to the apartments. We took a regular project that might or might not have a sea view, because we're not sure yet if there's probably going to be some sea view from some apartments, but I don't want to call it the sea view project. So the money value concept that we did it is that we asked from 3 different leading interior designers, to each one of them to make his own plan to the apartment. And with that, they upgraded the entire specifications for the apartment, from the flooring to the kitchens to the covers, basically everything around it. And that gives an actual money value to the apartment, and you don't necessarily pay for it. So you get a designed apartment from one of the leading interior designers in Israel for free. Now, here you could find apartments of 4 and 5 rooms, and you can see that the 2 buildings are standing right beside each other. And it's a good planning, because that way they don't hide each other, and you could get a clear view to the back and to the front of the rest of Park Hayam. And also, of course, we didn't forget about the facilities that we put in every of our projects, like the gym or the residence lounge that we're never missing in none of our projects, because Olim is considered to be the largest company in Israel, and it's really important for us to maintain a certain standard. And you wouldn't find these days a project that does not have these kinds of facilities. So this is in very, very, very short, and I want to thank to Rafi to put me here in this webinar. But before I'm gonna go, I want to give you a quick brief about the starting prices that you might have in the different projects in Netanya. So if you could look at this at the screen, at the right column, I put it in US dollars, and at the left column, it's in shekels. Okay. So it's really easy, and the number of rooms are here. Don't forget, these are the number of rooms as we define them, Israelis. So 3 rooms would be 2 bedrooms. And you can see that the starting prices, it's actually a good price considered to Netanya these days. It's starting from 2.6 million shekels, and in dollars, it's $720,000. That's the starting price of apartment in Netanya, while for example, in Chofim West, you could get a seafront apartment from 1.1 million shekels, or 1.1 million dollars, or $1.270 million. The large apartment in between them, the 150 square meters. That's 1,600 feet, as we said. So, in very general, Olim has a big variety of projects. We have projects that we're building in communities that has a lot of Anglos or Israelis, or even mixed communities. We could really offer from all the kinds that there is, from all the main cities like Jerusalem, Netanya, Tel Aviv, Herzliya, and more. And if you want to go further to the north or to the south, we could offer that. If you want to enjoy our subsidiary daughter company, the Olim Living, that is doing the long-term renting that we spoke of in the beginning, we have that as well. We're having our commercial activities that we're giving a higher value to the projects, because we're building under our projects some commercial stores that we usually never sell them. We only keep them to ourselves and we rent them out. The reason for that is, just to keep a certain standard in the project. So we only renting them out into businesses like barbershops or cosmetics or ice cream shops or a super farm. Basically things that will give a higher standard, and not something that will do the opposite, the exact opposite, like restaurants, that might have some smells or some unclean environment. So it's really important for us to keep it very unique and in high standard. Now, to those of you who's coming, will address me, will call me after this webinar, and will say that they came from this webinar, we will give a special discount of 50,000 shekels. And I'd be more than happy to give you a personal presentation on Zoom or in person, whenever you're coming to Israel, I'd be happy to show you around, take you to show to see our different projects. And in the meantime, you could call me at this number that is on the screen or write me an email. And if you have questions, I think this is the time.
Great. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you to Guy and Eyal. Like I said, we will send out a recording with the contact information for everyone so you can reach out to them. And I think just to recap all the good information that we'll share with you today, as you can see, we're not just offering and promoting anyone. Each one of the companies has something unique, some valuable service and offering that we really think are appropriate either for people making Aliyah, people who have made Aliyah, or people that want to buy from abroad. These are people that will take good care of you. And it's not just about saving a few dollars or a few shekels here. It's knowing that you have somebody who really cares about what you're looking for and will take care of you. And these guys offer that plus the financial benefits of whether it's a 10% discount that Guy Neal mentioned on short-term rentals, or the 50,000 shekel discount if you want to buy an apartment through Olim. With that, what I want to just do before we get to the Q&A is I just want to put up a poll here just for a moment, just for those of you who are here, just to see, now that you've gone through the presentation, we want to get a sense of what you feel is valuable to you. So, Eyal and Daniel, can you guys see the poll there popping up?
Yes.
If everybody's on, if you can just take a moment, let us know. This will also help us get a better sense of what topics, what areas we want to cover in the future. And we always want to make sure that we're, bringing in different partners and talking about different projects. So take a moment and fill that out. And then in the meantime, I'll also put up the contact information here, my contact information that we have. Share again the presentation. There you go. Okay, we'll just take another 30 seconds. If you can just let us know, that'd be great. And then we'll get to some of the questions. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to just end the poll. Okay, I'm just going to. So that's just a few questions here. One question for you, Daniel. People asking if you have long-term rentals and selling opportunities in the same building. Let's say it's grandparents, the grandfather and grandmother want to rent, and the family, the kids want to buy. With the grandkids, are there projects where there's long-term rental and purchasing in the same project, or are they separate?
Depends on the project. I could give you an example of a project that we have in Ashkelon, in a Gamim neighborhood. There we have a mixed project with long-term rental and private and just regular development for sales. And they're all in the same project, but they're mixed. Some of them we could rent, some of them we could sell. So it really depends. We have another project like that in Arnona that we finished selling. So it really depends.
Okay. Question, Guy in the Yal, somebody's asking here about renting. Can you go over the process of, so do they find a community first? Like if somebody wanted to come to Israel on a pilot trip, they're coming for a week, or they've made Aliyah and they need a place to stay for a month to 2 months. Can you talk a little bit about how that process works? What would you recommend that they start with?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, they should understand which area they are interested in. We can provide video calls from the apartments that we work in, so they will be able to see the environment and see the apartment itself, but more importantly, the area that they are going to rent the 1 month or 2 month stay. And of course, we will talk about pricing, budget, and how they were going to spend the rest of the 2.5 or 3 months. Sometimes it's even half a year that people need this kind of solutions. So we are guiding them through the process before they made the reservation. While they are in the place, we are maintaining the place, handling if anything breaks down or things needs to be fixed. We are there. We are the company that does everything from A to Z, from the moment they want to come to Israel to the moment they find their long-term or buy a house.
Okay, thank you. Daniel, there's a question here about somebody who currently owns an apartment in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, in their early stages of Pinui Binui. And so just based on your experience with this process, they're asking, should they look to sell now and move on, or is it something that they should hold on until the process is done? You know, if they want to move, what would you recommend that they do in terms of the timeline and kind of next steps?
Well, I'm not sure exactly on which timeline they're at this moment, but usually for projects under the concept of urban renewal, from the signing of their tenants till the stage of taking out all the different permits and the planning and to the stage of executing, that alone could take 4, 5, 6 years. And then you have another 3 to 4 years of construction. While during the construction, you would be able, from day one, you'd be able to sell it on the new price of a new development, of a new apartment. Okay, that's for now. Regarding the question, if to sell now or later, it really depends on the stage that they're at. Obviously, keeping an apartment like that gives a huge value to the owners at the end of the process. So this is something you wouldn't want to lose. But if you have a better alternative, so you know you gotta know how to calculate if it's better for you or not. I'd be happy to share more inputs and understand his situation more in person.
Okay. Do people have to be citizens to rent, or can they rent long
No,
term?
they could rent,
Okay,
even
that's
though.
good. Okay. There's a question here also about for Guy and Eyal about renting a house versus an apartment. You know, we've been focusing on apartments, but some people would want to maybe rent a house. Do you also rent houses?
Definitely, we have multiple type of units from a studio apartment to 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms in an apartment in a like a building or a villa, a house near the beach, a private villa near Kinneret. It can be anything. We have many units in many types of rooms, so everything is available with us.
Okay, and then for all of you, asking about apartments with the mamad, with the bomb rooms, because especially Yal and you and Guy, if you guys are renting out older places, maybe not all of them have. So how do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, so basically 95% of our apartments has either a bomb room, like a shelter, we call it mamad in Israel, or we have like a floor mamad or a shelter in the street, which is walking distance and safe from the missiles. Like if there is an alarm, it's enough time to go to the shelter. This is 95% of our apartments. Those that doesn't have it, we also mention it beforehand. So everything will be secured beforehand, and the information is on the website, or we can provide it manually through our agents. And I saw another question following up this one that somebody asked about if they don't have a bank account, how can they rent for short term? So we don't require a bank account in our company. We just need your information, your passport, and you can make a reservation without any bank account in Israel.
Okay, great. Daniel, for the building that you showed, will the high-rise apartments be built in front so the view is secured? Or you had showed the 4 different projects. So can you talk a little bit about, the views from those apartments on higher floors?
Well, the closest project that we have to the sea is the west one. It's only 350 meters from the sea, and it's a second line to the coast. There is a small area to the left of the project that there's currently a soccer field. That's the only place that if someone in the future will decide to move it and build something instead of it. It's a bit further, so it shouldn't hide the view, maybe some of it. But in Israel, you can never know exactly. So I'm not gonna promise anything like that. But that's what we have now. That's what we have to enjoy from. It's pretty close to the sea. You can see it very clearly. And even though if something will hide it, it will only be some of it.
Got it. Okay, thanks. For Eyal and for Guy, can you talk a little bit about the benefit of renting through you versus going to Airbnb?
Of course, this
Yes,
is an
of course.
excellent point, and Guy will mention it.
Airbnb is a marketplace. At the end of the day, anybody can go on Airbnb and post their shed room inside their apartment, an apartment, a house, a tree house, or anything that is livable. And the plus is that you are exposed to many, many different options. The minus is that you don't know who is hosting you, and if he's a good host, if he even speaks the language. And when you deal with the professional company, you know that you are taken care of from A to Z, from the experience on the website that provides all the information to a dedicated agent like Eyal stated that helps choosing the property. And if anything happens during the stay, there is a mother and a father, somebody to be there and to assist. And that's pretty much the difference if you go rogue or if you want somebody to take care of you.
And
I
I think
would, I would-
also Eyal mentioned that Airbnb adds or charges additional fees that you don't, right?
Correct.
yes,
Airbnb also
Financially
has their
also,
service,
right?
also has their service fee, which is about 15%. And with us, everything is included. And on top of that, like Eyal generously offered, there is another 10% for the all the webinar subscribers.
The way I viewed it is that in essence, they're cutting out the middleman. They're going directly to the source. You guys are the source of the properties, and so they get the service and the discounted price. So it's the best of both worlds. Um, Daniel, for you, somebody asked about getting a mortgage, 65 years old. I know that there are options. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because I imagine that many people who are buying your properties are people who are retired or don't necessarily have the cash. So can you talk about, without getting into the details of the mortgages, but just the possibility of getting a mortgage when you're at that age?
Well, I've been doing this activity for over 2 years now, and as part of me doing that activity, I have to give some services to the client, from ways of funding to legal problems or even money transfer options, because sometimes that could be an issue. So I'm happy to say that we have all of these options, and I could suggest a lot of good agents or people who deal with it specifically with foreign buyers and knows exactly how to deal with every issue. And after saying that, I would agree that after the age of 65, that could be a challenge, but it doesn't mean that it's not impossible. But every case is unique, and we have to review it in person. So I'm
Right,
not
I
saying
agree.
no, but I'm not saying yes.
Well, we've dealt with quite a few people in that age bracket. Part of our team, we have an excellent mortgage broker who has found there's a lot of reverse mortgage options and non-standard options that are available to people who are older. And so, to answer your question shortly, there are solutions, there are different alternatives to pick. And so, if this is something you want to discuss, reach out to me. I can introduce you to the mortgage broker we work with, who can go through and really answer your questions. Okay, I'm just looking at the clock, and I think that we've gotten to the end of the hour. So again, I want to thank Daniel, Eyal, Guy for your time. We really appreciated everybody that joined us. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to wish you continued success with your journey, whether it's Aliyah, buying a property, renting a property, and just know, like I've said a number of times, you're not alone. You're here. We're here to help you, take care of you. I'll send out an email with the contact information. You can email us or WhatsApp us. If you don't have an American number, then we'll figure something out. But bottom line, don't worry about it. We're here to help you. So with that, have a wonderful week. Be safe and be well, and we'll see you soon. Take care,
Thank you,
everybody.
Afi. Thank you for the
You're very
opportunity.
welcome.
Take care. Shavua tov.
Laila tov, Shavua
Shavua
tov.
tov, Shana Tova. Thank you. Bye bye.